restorative Pilates. I would like to use a pillow this morning, or a squishy ball if you own one. A pillow will be fine if not, but small, one that we can kind of hold and like, so a towel would actually also work. One thing is, see what you are seeing. Okay. All right. So I'd like to start laying on your back. And just take a moment here to let the body release into the floor. Sorry. Okay, now notice where your body's being held away from the floor, and see if you can take the next minute to breathe into those areas and let the bones and joints open and release a little bit into the mat. And you don't need to manipulate the breath too much. It's more of an exercise in awareness. Good morning, Jordana, yay! So we're just gonna lay and breathe for a few moments now that my daughter is eating. And then I think it's a good time to just sort of start to move. I'm going to start with my shoulders, so we'll talk about that area a bit. Like, move the shoulders around a little so that the arms and the joints open and you can kind of feel what is happening. You can roll your head side to side. You can take a breath into the belly and just feel. And if you want to like add some arm movements to kind of open that area up, we are going to move there in a little bit. So we are going to add the arms. Just play with this. Arms can reach up. I love to do this with my eyes closed. I just feel like there's much more, it's just a little more introspective that way. And then let's go right into this sort of arm, upper back release. So grabbing your elbows right over top of your sternum, you're going to slowly pull the arms to one side, tapping the elbow down, and then switch and pull to the other side. And this is going to start nice and slow. And I'm just going to, you're going to keep doing this, and I'm just going to get closer to the phone so I can see the comments, because I can't see them from here. A bit loud. Great. I will turn that down. All right. Well, now it's not on at all. Keep going with the arms. Just let me figure out what's going on here. There we go. All right. So I'm actually going to take the comments off so that I can see what you can see. There we go. So we're just pulling the arms side to side. And the head is going to just follow the direction of the arms. So you can feel that rotation down into the neck and rib cage. And shift and shift. And then just for a little challenge, you're going to take your eyes away from the arms. So the arms pull one direction, eyes go the opposite, and then switch. And switch. And switch. Nice big breaths. And there's no need to pull into tense areas. Just move in a range that feels good, where you can sense the movement in the shoulder blades, where you can feel a little rotation in the spine. You can feel maybe a bit of movement in the ribs. Keep going. Good, and then let's take the head in the same direction as the arms again, and just speed the pace up. Really floppy. And then let's take the head up to the ceiling, the eyes up to the ceiling, and just move the arms. And keep that quicker pace for 8, 7, 6, 4, 3, and last one each side. And then just let the arms, actually reach the arms up to the ceiling, let the shoulders really settle into the ground, so really wide across the collarbones, releasing into the rib cage. And just let the arms be heavy here and feel that arm bone really drop into the back of the shoulder socket. I like to take my hands up to the upper trapezius and give myself a little massage so that you can feel what needs or can be let go in that really tight area. And so do that on each side. I'll give you a moment. One side is really different than the other. And then, just because we're really working on the upper body, let's lace the fingers, place the hands behind the head. Bring your elbows in so that you can, they're actually quite narrow. And all you're going to do is nod the chin and lift your head up and lower down. I'm not going all the way into this huge neck flexion. I'm actually just going maybe halfway and then lower down. And my shoulder blades stay on the mat. This isn't a crunch or an ab prep or any sort of abdominal work really. This is just lifting the head with your arms. Let the head be like a bowling ball in your hands. And then lift it up and just look side to side a few times. So feel that incredibly passive rotation through the neck. And then lay your head back down, but give it a little traction. So pull the head away from the shoulders. Place it down so your neck is nice and long. Let your arms just fall off to the side. And take a moment to notice if there's a shift or change in the areas that you felt tension in at the beginning. And then I think we're all going to roll onto our sides to face the screen. Pillow under the head, nice little prop. And we're going to do some spinal rotation here. So arm is going to go down to the hip for the first two. Take a big breath in once you arrive in your rotation. And then roll back on your side. And this is a really, I'm just going to encourage you to close your eyes and move really slowly. And let the breath help with the stretch and the opening. For the next two, the arm is going to go straight to the ceiling. Arm and ribs move in one piece as you open. Big breath in. And release as you close. And again, up and open. And then for the last two, the arm is going to go overhead. Feel that length in the waist, that yawn in the armpit as you open, nice and slow. Big breath in. And stretch and return. And last one, all the way up and open. And return. Let's just lengthen the top leg out long And I'm going to adjust my mat in a bit so you can see my full leg, but you're just going to pull the toes back towards you and just very gently lower and lift with a very active leg. Try to pull the top waist away from the shoulder a bit, and let's make this, it might involve a lot more muscle work at the beginning, but as you move through this a few times, see if you can drop that work down to below where your hand is, so that you're really feeling the draw up and down from the side of the glute. Just 4 more like that. Keep going. And then let's make this the last 2. Last 1. And then stack the legs one more time, and you're going to circle the arm up overhead into a nice spiral rotation. And this time continue to circle with the arm as it goes down to the hip to roll you on your side. 2 more like that. Let's coordinate a little breath with this. Inhale, stretch and open and rotate. And exhale. 1 more. Lengthen the leg again, this time quite passive, so flop through the foot and a little tiny bend in the knee. I like to take my hand to the top hip, just give yourself that little reminder to lengthen, and then down and up a few times here. Notice the work that might be in the shoulders and jaw, and see if you can just close your eyes, breathe, and release that, so that the work is coming from below the hip bone. Nice bony landmark at the front of the hip, the pelvis. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. You're going to stack your knees again, and we'll just reverse the circle. So 3 the other way, down to the hip, open, big breath in. And maybe an exhale as you roll onto your side. 2 more. Very heavy and released through the body. Feel the ribs roll open and stretch. And this time let's open into that rotation and then let that just pull you onto your back for a moment. Lose the pillow. I like to take a moment to just feel the work. So perhaps one side feels a bit heavier, longer, or no difference whatsoever, but just notice if there is one. And then just be aware of the feet. So stepping evenly into both feet, hands just off your hips. You're going to go right away into a hip roll. So gathering through those sit bones, slowly pick the spine up 1 vertebra at a time. At the top, you're going to press up with the sacrum and drop down a little bit through the chest, and then keep that going, that kind of up in the sacrum, down in the chest, and just let the spine roll all the way back down to the floor. Roll the pelvis away. We'll do a little rock of the pelvis away, arching through the low back, and then right away back into your hip roll. Let's just do that 2 more times. Press up in the sacrum, drop in the chest, and then continue that drop in the chest and sternum as you roll the spine down. Rocking pelvis away. And rolling it up. Big breath in. And melting it back down. Good, let's leave the pelvis on the ground for a moment. We're just going to do some arm circles. So sweep the arms all the way up overhead. Circle them wide to the side and down to the hips. 2 more this direction, all the way up. Circle, just feel the movement of the arms and the shoulder blades around the ribs. Keep the ribs nice and heavy while you do this. And then let's reverse the direction. So sweeping the arms wide to the side up overhead. Fold in the joints, let them fall down with as little effort as possible. 2 more, all the way up. Last one. And then all the way down, let's let the hands rest by the side. Take a moment, big breath in. We're going to combine hip rolls with those arm circles. So as you roll the pelvis up, you're going to fold the arms one over top of the other as they reach overhead. First direction we did with the arms. Rolling down through the spine, being really specific as to what you were working on in the hip rolls while you keep the arms passive. It's quite challenging actually. And then right away, right back into your hip roll as the arms fold over your body and reach up. And then exhale, and the more that you can coordinate this with breath, I think the easier it'll be to find that coordination. And then one more time, rolling up. And slowly lowering down. Once the pelvis hits the mat, take a moment. Heavy back of the body into the floor. And then reverse, so roll the pelvis up, sweep the arms wide to the side and overhead. Folding the arms, softening in the sternum, and rolling all the way down. I think maybe an easier coordination here. Rolling up. And melting it all the way back down. Last one here. Rolling it up. And all the way down. Take a second, let the pelvis sit heavily into the mat. I want to do all that spinal rotation work on the other side, so you guys can just roll away from the screen. I'm gonna get up and switch around so that you can see me. So pillow underneath the head, knees stacked. Take a second to let the body release into the mat, arm forward. We'll start with the sweeping down to the hip and open, away. Breath in. And return. I find one of the challenges here is letting the head be heavy into the pillow as you do this movement. Depending on how much tension you carry in your shoulders, which a lot of us carry tension there. Arm up to the ceiling and open away. And close. I like to think of this in 4 movements. So the arm opens and then it kind of picks up the rib cage and the ribs peel open to the ceiling. And then the third movement is the ribs peel back towards the front and then the arm closes. And then let's go overhead. Up and over, reach, rotate away. Big yawn through the armpit as you roll back on your side. One more. Lengthening that top leg out. Really pull the kneecap up. Flex the toes, hand to the top hip. Little pull and encouragement of that hip away from shoulder, down and up. Maybe check out your leg and just make sure it's 180 degrees with your body. Down and up, down and up. The work is below where your hand is. So feel that little gather. And if you are feeling this intensely down the side of the leg or more so in the front, tiny external rotation of toes and kneecap to the ceiling, up and down here. Three, 2, and 1, and then bend the knees. We'll just do that little pinwheel down to the hip. Keep that arm going up and over your head. Let the ribs roll around, nice fluid movements. Last one. We'll do the passive version of leg lifts. So lengthen the top leg out again. Let the foot go, let the knee bend. Check out the leg, make sure that thigh bone is 180 degrees to your body, and then down and up. If you do feel the work, again, in the front of the leg or down into the IT band, just externally rotate and give yourself maybe a bit of like a tactile cue of tapping the side of the glute. I don't know, that works for me to feel, oh, I want to feel it there, and just giving yourself that feeling or that whatever reminder. For 4, 3, 2, and then stack the knees, and we'll just sweep down and up and over. And down and up and over. And this is a bit faster. Last one, down, up and over. And let's just roll right onto your stomach for a moment. I'm going to put the pillow underneath my pelvis just so that I don't feel that sort of hip bone digging into the ground. It also gives you a little bit of height under the pelvis, which I think will help. So, up to you. You can open the legs into a little V and externally rotate them. Walk the fingers forward. I'm going to just spin myself here so you can see me a bit better. Walk the fingertips forward so my elbows are kind of lightly bent, and then the forehead is on the floor. So you're just going to roll something forward with the nose as you start to peel up in a very kind of shallow swan prep, and then lower down. This is focusing on the upper back, nose, and then the sternum reaches forward. And there's a little pressure into the arms as the elbows straighten and lift you slightly higher, and then lower yourself back down. Your glutes are definitely working here to help support. Let's do one more like that. Slowly coming up. And then lowering yourself all the way back down. You can stay with that. Or you can bend your elbows a little bit more, bringing them kind of around ear height. And you'll do the same thing. Slowly encouraging the spine up into a nice gentle extension. And lowering down. If you imagine that you are being helped up by something so that there is lift through the back of the body, this feels much more forgiving than if it's all coming from the floor, I think. Give it a try, see what happens. And we'll do 3 more, and you can either stay at one of the 2 heights we just did, or you can bend your elbows even more, keeping that nice, relaxed, easy feeling in the spine as you come up and down, straightening the arms. Glutes really on to help support that low back curve. And see if we can find the sternum reaching forward and maybe a little squeeze through the shoulder blades to get more extension through that mid-back. And lower down. Nice. You're going to push all the way up, back into your shell stretch. Let's open the knees nice and wide. Reach the fingertips forward. Really walk those fingers forward. Get that nice long fascial stretch down the sides of the body. And then we'll walk the hands to the right side, sit into the left hip, but then walk those left fingertips away from your hip and get that nice opening down the left side. And then let's do the same thing on the other side. So walking to the left, right fingertips crawl away, head to the floor. Good, and then come on back, center. And then slowly crawl your way up onto your knees. So we're just going to do another little rib mobilizing exercise with some breath. So let's lace the fingers and place the hands right on top of the head. So there's just like a passive little bit of weight going down into the spine, into the knees. All you're going to do is twist and rotate maybe about 3/4 of what you actually can do. So no need to go way around like so, just a little sort of corner to corner. And as you do that, you're going to make an S sound. So big breath in, And then exhale on your S. Big breath in. Exhale. One more in. And really let all the air out. Exhale. Let's pause that rotation. Big breath in. Same S sound. This time real slow side bend to the right. Inhale, come back up. S as you go to the other side. Inhale up. And other sides. And up. Last one. Arms will reach forward. Left elbow pulls back, right arm reaches forward, and then switch. Feel that little squeeze through that left shoulder blade if that's the direction you're rotating, and right shoulder blade, that one. And just feel that sort of movement through the ribcage and scapulas. 3, 2, and 1. I want to go back onto your back. You may use that little S breath again, just to help with some roll-ups and stuff. So, knees will be bent all the way down. Take a second to let your body settle here again. Hands are going to lace behind your head. You're going to slowly come up into an ab prep. So I am kind of rolling my low ribs down to the floor and back slightly. From here, you're going to place your hands on your sternum in a reverse prayer. And then you're going to pull your elbows towards your knees, increasing that flexion through the upper back. Hands are going to then go behind the head one more time. Take a breath in. And then lower yourself all the way down. So I'm just going to pause here for a second and say, if you have neck stuff and that taking your hands away and doing this movement isn't great for your neck, do the same sort of increase in flexion, but just keep your hands behind your head. So I'll demonstrate what I'm talking about now. Let's start from the beginning. Big breath in. Exhale, nod and curl. So if you're just sensitive in your neck, you're going to take a breath in. Reach your elbows a little bit more towards your knees. Let the movement come from low ribs so we're not pulling on the head. It's a bit trickier to find that with hands staying behind the head. Big breath in at this new height. Whew, and then lower all the way down. And then I'm going to do the version I demonstrated at the beginning. Nod and curl ab prep. Hands in the reverse prayer right over sternum. Elbows pull you to your knees and feel those ribs in the back sort of kind of draw up and back behind your heart a little bit. Hands continue back behind your head. Lower yourself all the way down. Nod and curl. Hands reverse prayer sternum. Elbows reach to your knees. Ribs pulled back up like a wave behind your heart. Hands behind your head. Lower all the way down. You have one more. Nod and curl. Reverse prayer. Elbows to knees. Hands behind the head. And here we pulse for 10, 9, 8, 6, 5, 3, 2, 1, and then lower all the way back down. Hands just off your hips. Just let your head shift side to side. Feel how that movement lets the collarbones release and open to the floor a bit. And then walk your feet in a little so that we're going to do a little bit of imprinting work. So sensing the neutral curve through the low spine, a little bit of lightness or arch through that low back naturally. You're going to gather those low abdominals and lengthen the back onto the mat to find your strong imprint. Careful that we haven't got tight through the shoulders and the neck. Right leg comes up in a tabletop. That's my left leg. Press the hands onto the knee, and then other leg comes up and press the hands. So it's a bit of a bracing exercise. You're going to press the knees into the hands and hands into the knees. Watch that you haven't lost the imprint, so bring the knees a little closer towards you. Your elbows might bend a bit, and press harder. All of that coming from a long low back and imprinted low spine. Drop the feet a little bit. Press, press, press. And then release the feet back one at a time. Release the imprint. Sense the neutral. Big breath in. Gather through those low abs. Let that lengthen the low spine. We're back in an imprint. Let's go with the right leg. And your left hand is going to press on the right thigh or knee. And then the left leg comes up. And the right hand presses on the left knee. So I'm just crossed with my arms. Press. Drop the feet. Bring the knees a little closer in towards you. Feel how that responds, your low back responds to that. Maybe your hip flexors take a little break. Press, press, press. And then one at a time, release. Reset into your neutral and take a moment. Deepen through those low abs. Long low spine. Back up into tabletop with no pressing. Let's keep the hands down for this first one. Drop the feet, and we're just going to do some really simple toe taps with a lazy low leg. So just let the low leg just fall to the floor, and that fall comes right from the hip. The thigh bone just releases away and then deepens back in. Lift the feet a little bit. Let's challenge the low abs a bit more. Make sure that this additional load hasn't pulled the low spine away from the mat. Lift the feet a little bit more, right up to 90 degrees. You have 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold the legs here for a moment. Let's press right hand into right knee, left hand into left knee, and hold. Reset that that imprinted low spine if you started to lose it. And let's just do a few toe taps here. So just release the right leg. Press once the knee returns, left leg. And press, right leg. This is the last one. Left leg. And then place the legs down. Take a second. Just one more variation with that imprint work. So finding those abdominals, lengthening the low back. Legs come up into tabletop. Let's cross. So left knee, right hand. Right knee, left hand. Press and hold. You're going to take the left hand up to the ceiling. We're just going to work with one side at a time. So it's right toe tap, left reach. Keep pressing the opposite hand and knee into each other. Toe tap for 4. 3. If the hip flexor of that left side is really on, bring the knee closer. Drop the foot a little bit. Make those little adjustments so that you can feel the work in the low abdominals supporting the imprint. That's the most important part. One more. Right away, other side. So pressing left hand into right knee, right hand to the ceiling. Toe tap and arm reach. Two more. And last one. Press in that cross position and hold, and then one leg at a time lowers down to the mat. Couple breaths here. Hands behind your head. So you're going to nod and curl. You're going to find reverse prayer. Reach your elbows to the knees, increasing that upper back flexion. Hands go back behind your head. Legs come up into tabletop. Pulse here. 10. Nice and slow. 9. 6. 4. 2. Lower all the way down. Let's keep the legs up. Nod and curl again. Nice long imprinted spine because both legs are off the ground. Hands find the sternum, reverse prayer. Reach the elbows to the knees, increasing that flexion. Hands back behind the head. Toe taps. Little fluid, a little bit more fluid than what we've been doing. For 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Legs up. Let's leave them there. Lower all the way down. Last variation, nod and curl. Reverse prayer, elbows reach. Hands back behind the head. Let's keep the hands where they are, just single leg stretch. And then for the last 8, little twist, or you can take a break. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 8. Hug the knees in, lower yourself all the way down. Like really give your knees a hug. Roll them side to side. And then we'll place the left leg down and keep the right knee in your hand for a moment. And just circle that leg around a little bit. Pulling it in, shifting it side to side, releasing it away. Just move the thigh bone around in the hip joint. And then you're going to grab the right knee cap with the right hand and release the leg away from you as much as you can. So straightening through that right elbow. You can straighten this other leg, this left leg on the mat, or bend it a little bit depending on how comfortable your hip is. And then I want you to circle the kneecap very passively, using the arm to do this around your hip joint. So it's actually more arm work than it is hip or leg work. And then find a little support in that low abdominal so that the pelvis isn't being pulled around with the thigh bone. I also like to add a little bit of pressure down into my kneecap and into the thigh bone so that I can feel a little bit more, I think it's encouraging release of those little stabilizing muscles around the hip joint that can be on or maybe a bit weak because the hip flexors do a lot more work than they need to. Let's reverse the circle or just reverse what you're doing. And then release the leg up into tabletop. Left leg will be straight or a little bit bent. And you're just going to try to mimic that passive feeling in the hip and to do single leg circles. So the leg's going to go over to across your midline and then around wide and back up over the hip. And then reverse the circle. So a lot more low abdominal support to keep the hip, the feeling of ease in that hip joint. A lot of breath I'm finding helps, and also the ribs being nice and melty towards the mat, which is tricky, but the breath really helps find that. Last one. And then lengthen the leg as much as you can, and let's actually grab behind the thigh and just do this a few times, just to open the hamstrings, and then release, and open, and release. This doesn't have, you don't have to straighten the leg all the way, just do what you can. And then straighten the leg as much as your hamstrings will let you, and you're going to do a really big flowing circle. And this one, I'm just going to move because it's hitting something. This one can be much freer and much more about just moving big. The pelvis will move for sure. Let's reverse the circle. And then the last one, leave the leg up to the ceiling for a moment. You're going to sweep it to the side one last time, bend the left knee and come onto your side here. Pillow underneath the head. We're just going right away into side kick. So 2 pulses forward with that leg, point the toe, sweep it back. Pulse, pulse, point, sweep it back. Pulse, pulse, and back. Pulse, pulse. 2 more. And last one. We're going to add the upper body, reach the arm back, reach the leg back, arm reaches forward on that diagonal. And then sweep the arm down to the hip as the leg comes forward, no pulses with the leg opening up to the body. So spinal rotation mixed with side kick. Forward and back. And forward and back. I'm just cueing the upper body here. 2 more. And last one. And then step the knees. The hand that was just moving comes in front of your sternum. You can see. And then the other one will wrap around your ribs and you're going to lay on the floor. So just a little arm work with rotation. You're going to press up and then spin your chest to the mat. And then return, the shoulder lays you down onto your pillow. And then pressing up, you can use your legs a little bit if you need that counterbalance. And then all the way back down. Just 2 more. Press, little rotation, chest to the mat. And then back down. Last one. And then you're going to roll back onto your back once you've finished. The same leg that did all the leg circles, you'll hug that leg in. So that was my right leg. And then you're going to lengthen the left leg long, hook the right toes behind the left knee, and just pull the knee all the way to the floor. Big, huge lower body twist. So the other arm can either rest on your rib cage or open away, depending on what your shoulder is telling you. The arm can be down closer to your hip or up a little bit closer to the shoulder, again, depending on the rotator cuff. But if you're feeling a lot of tension and pull in that shoulder joint, just rest your hand on your rib cage and take your eyes away from the knee. Breathe into the top half of the body, that top rib cage. One more big breath in. And then all the way back. Lengthen the leg long, hands just off your hips. Pause here. Let's go right away to the other side. So hugging now the left knee in. Pull the knee around. Just be very kind of curious, creative about how you move and what you're feeling. And then pick your position of the right leg, so it can be straight on the mat or a little bit bent. Holding the left kneecap with the left hand. You are going to find that deepening of the thigh bone in the hip joint. And then passive circles, using the arm a lot to help let the leg feel supported. Find a little low abdominal support so that the pelvis can stay kind of heavy. And then maybe you'll notice a gooiness or a sense of release in that hip joint that you didn't have before. And then let's reverse the circle, or whatever you're doing, just reverse it or do something different. And then lift the foot up so that it's 90 degrees. We're in a tabletop. Again, you can lengthen or bend the right leg. We'll start going across your midline, sweep it away, comes in a little bit towards the chest, and then across the midline. So drawing a circle as passive as you can in that hip joint around the hip joint. And then reverse the circle. We lost the music. One more. And then lengthen the leg up and bend it in a little bit and reach and bend. It's totally up to you how much you lengthen the leg. You don't even have to hold it if you're finding that it's too much. If you feel it's too much, really bend this underneath leg. Give yourself that little adjustment in the pelvis so that this feels like an opening instead of adding tension to your leg. And then lengthen the leg up as much as you like. Big, huge circles, cross the body and around. And cross and around. Sweeping the leg. Huge circle, last one, and then reverse the direction. Notice if you're gripping and pressing a little too much in the hands and arms. Last one. See if you can breathe and maybe flip the palms to the ceiling. Okay, I'm going to demonstrate this and I'm going to give you my back, but then I'm going to flip around. So, the leg is going to start the circle wide to the side. It's going to sweep around, bending underneath me, and here you are on your side with the pillow underneath your head. So you're going to stay there. I'm going to swing around so that I have my front. And we're right into side kicks. 2 pulses and back. Pulse, pulse, and back. Pulse, pulse. So if you would like that little cue of hand to the hip, lengthening through the top waist, that might help you feel a little bit of more support through the top hip. Because the work, again, just like in leg lifts, is coming from below where your fingers are. And then let's add the body on the next one. So taking the pulses out, you're going to reach the arm forward, leg swings back. Arm goes down to the hip, leg swings forward. And sweep the leg back, arm forward, and back. Forward, and back. Let's do 3 more, rolling around nice and easily in this movement. Mixing side kicks with spinal rotation. 2 more. Last one. And then stack the legs all the way on your side. Hand that was just moving goes in front of your sternum. Press up and wrap the underneath hand around your ribs. So all the way down to start. So if this really doesn't feel good on your shoulder, pick something else to do. You can do really anything. You can just do some arm lower and lift here. That's actually a good one. You can add a little rotation, but the full exercise is pushing up, little wrap chest to the mat, and then slowly lowering down, and we'll just do 3 more. Pressing up, little rotation, slowly lowering down. Pressing up. And down. And last one. And then you're going to roll onto your back one more time. Legs are going to come up. You're going to grab behind your knees. You're gonna press the legs into the hands, nod the curl, and give yourself a roll up assisted, like so. Sitting nice and tall. Shift around here a little bit. Nice and tall here. You're gonna roll down the same way. So deepening those low abs, slowly letting the spine, laying the spine down. Legs are gonna lift and you're gonna rock back onto your back to release. Hug the knees in. Press into the legs, or sorry, hands with the legs. Slowly nod and curl, roll all the way up. Lengthen through the upper back. And then deepen through those low abs, slowly lengthening the arms. Legs eventually come with you. One more. Nod, kick into the hands, rolling up. I was going to use that S breath here, but I feel like we're running a little bit low on time, and I want to get to a few things before we finish. Nod and curl. I should probably check the time, actually. All the way up. We're going to do some rolling like a ball. So deepening those low abs, legs are going to come up into tabletop, and then just increasing the speed of what you just did. Low abs, start this rock back. I'm not rocking onto my neck or head. I'm actually not going past my shoulder blades. Tail chases the head and head chases the tail. You're just going to keep going for about 4 or 5 more. There we go. Perfect. And then once you finish this last one, place your feet down. Arms are going to reach forward. Just drawing one elbow back. You're going to just deepen the abs. Leave the feet on the ground this time. Roll back a little bit. Elbow pulls back. And then gather and rock off your sit bones. Gather and roll and sit up. And then rolling back. So I like to focus on this one. I like to focus on that slow release and lengthening of the hip flexors. Let's do 2 more each side. One more each side. Let's stay here. So in this little roll back position, lots of support through the low abs, a little bit of length through the hip flexors, palms to the floor, reach up, eyes and sternum lift, bring the arms back down, reach up, eyes and sternum, bring the arms down. 2 more, up and lower, up and lower. You're going to reach up and hold, and then all the way up and over your legs. Big breath in. Exhale. Big breath in. Exhale. Last one. And then roll yourself all the way up to sit. So we're going to do teaser prep number 2, which just is basically the same arm movement of what we just did, but we're going to add a roll back and roll up. So I'll demonstrate the full one and then give some modifications. So you're going to deepen the abdominals, lay the spine down, leaving the knees bent. The arms are going to reach up and over your head. Then they come back to the ceiling, nod and curl. You only roll up to that place just behind the sit bones, and then 3 times you lift your arms up, head and sternum go with you. Up. Now I'm trying to keep this nice C curve through my low back, so I'm not lifting up out of this curve at all. One more time, up, and then from here, you're gonna roll back down to the floor. Arms reach overhead. Nod and curl. You can always do the version we just did, which was just up and down with the arms, and then you'll come up to sit tall instead of rolling back. So let's just do 2 more arm lifts here. Keep the arms up. I'm going to roll down. If roll downs are not for you, just sit up for a moment and then meet us back in that teaser position. Right here, this will be your last one. Lift the arms, and 2. This time you're going to go up and over the legs, widen the feet. Nice big breaths here. Big breaths into the back and sides of the ribs. And then you can roll up to sit tall. Let's come on over onto your hands and knees, just to finish. So I want to do, because I've been really into rotating lately, so let's do some thread the needle. So the right, this is my left, is going to go up to the ceiling. Let's just use the arm that's closest to the screen, and then down and wraps underneath and around the body. Eyes follow the hand up and wrap. And 2 more, up and wrap. And last one, up and wrap. And then hands right underneath the shoulders. You're going to tuck your toes, and you're just going to hover your knees 1 inch off the mat. Hold here, really long from sternum to pubic bone for 4, 3, 2, knees drop down. Let's go with right arm, or the arm that's away from the screen, and then wrap around. And up. And nice fluid breath, coordinating the breath with this movement. In and out. And in. And then hands again underneath the shoulders. We're just going to do a little lower body eel. So the left knee, or the one knee, pulls up to the ceiling, the other knee stays on the mat, and then the other side. Think of this coming from the spine rotating instead of the weight shifting from knee to knee. So there's definitely a lift up to the ceiling instead of a shift out to the side. 2 more. And then sit back on your heels. And if this isn't a comfortable place for you to sit, you can sit cross-legged and give yourself something to sit on. And that's much friendlier on the hip flexors. And I just want to do a little bit of like mindful movement here to finish. So closing your eyes, hands wherever you want them to be. Take a few breaths. Sense the sit bones, those bony points right at the base of the pelvis. And just move around a little bit in the spine, very gentle, kind of like water-like movement. And feel how the movement shifts the weight onto one sits bone, onto the other one, forward of the sits bones, behind them. Just feel, it's like you are rolling around like one of those, I just had one of those images of like clowns that you punch and it always bounces back, and it's kind of rotating around a point at the base that's weighted. It's kind of what I'm trying to do here. So the point is to feel how the rest of the spine, rib cage, shoulders, head, is all affected based on where your weight is on these bones, or based on where these bones sit when you're standing. So to start to create a little bit of awareness around them, I think will help your Pilates work a lot. It's helped mine so much. So, and then just pause the movement for a moment And just feel your pubic bone. Just kind of know where it is in space. And then bring your pubic bone underneath your body a bit, rocking the pelvis, the low back will arch. And then release it back to where it sits naturally. And then just swing with ease that pubic bone underneath you. And then release it back. Just a few more of these. Swing it underneath. I always find it fascinating how as the pubic bone swings underneath, the spine lengthens and there's a lift in the sternum and there's almost like a height, confidence, I don't know. And then release it, and just I'm talking on my own body, that when I release it, there's a slouch and it comes right from my sternum and my sort of upper back area. Last one. So find your position with this pubic bone underneath you, maybe a little bit more. Eyes are still closed. And just take a couple breaths here, letting the arms really dangle like sandbags out of the shoulders so that we're not holding there at all at the end. And then I'm going to just come into a forward fold. I like to keep your eyes closed so you can move slowly and mindfully. Widen the feet. Hang over your legs. Bend the knees a lot, so this is much more about the spine than the hamstrings. Breathe into your belly. Feel the width across the sit bones and that ease in the hip flexors as they hinge deeply. Hang here for a moment. Send the breath into the belly. And then again, feel the arms hanging out of the shoulders, the shoulder sockets, like bags of sand, like very heavy and passive. Try to keep that. We're going to roll up on a count of 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And just to finish, because I'm kind of interested here, bring your feet right underneath your sit bones, so maybe 2 or 3 inches apart. And then swing the pubic bone underneath you again, if you can feel that, and just sense that alignment through the front of the body. So now my pubic bone is right under my sternum. I feel long. My shoulders are very much like hanging from the shoulder sockets. My head feels balanced, so there's no tightness holding it anywhere. And there's this nice sense of weight down into the floor from the bottom of the feet. And then you can open your eyes. And that is it. How many do I have left? 5 of you. Yay. Hang on here. I can't see. I hope you enjoyed that. Oh, there we go. I hope that all that stuff at the end made sense. I think that I'm going to be teaching kind of a fusion of Pilates and a little bit of weights on Tuesdays starting in May. So I hope to see you all then. Have a great day. Bye.